Welcome to Five Things, the show where we take brilliant, funny people and we ask 5 things about whatever the hell I want because for some reason they put me in charge. I am your host, Kyah Green. So we're going to start today with our 5 warm-up things because we like to stay on theme here. So before we introduce our guest, let's get to some important things for today. Number 1. The show appears in both video and podcast form. Where there are visuals, I will do my best to describe them. For instance, right now you are looking at my face. I am a small androgynous person wearing big black headphones. I have short hair, short brown hair, and round glasses. Just picture like Harry Potter if he was trans and progressive and cooler than J.K. Rowling. So that's what you're visualizing, and we'll try and make sure that we can describe things throughout this podcast/show. Number 2, this week in news, COVID-19 numbers are unfortunately soaring and many regions are placing new restrictions. So be sure to check your local website for what your government wants you to do and do probably more than that. Number 3, fun fact of the week. Did you know that crows can recognize individual human faces? That means, and this is scientifically proven, crows can hold grudges. Don't piss them off. Number 4, stuff you should know. This is a traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, and the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat. Number 5, this show is brought to you by Bad Dog Theater, which brings you unscripted content right here on their channel, basically every night of the week, with minor exceptions. Make sure to like, subscribe, and visit baddogtheater.com/5things to donate and keep this channel full of amazing, amazing comedians and lovely humans running. On that note, there will also be a fundraiser this weekend in which a bunch of comedians are going to be running 24 hours of the game Among Us, 24 whole hours of it in order to raise money to keep Bad Dog running. So make sure you check that out. Among them will be our guest today. And that brings me to the main event. So, now that we're all warmed up, it's time to introduce this guest, formerly a member of the Second City House Co. and songbuster and improvised musical. She is now a beloved Toronto drag queen by the name of Selena Vyle. She recently won a Canadian Comedy Award for her role in the queer sketch show Eleganza Extravaganza, and you can catch her doing a drag hour in this 24-hour Last of Us marathon that's happening this weekend. Also, she will be on the Oval this following Wednesday. Definitely recommend you check that out. She's part of Drag Academy, which is a masterclass series on the art of drag. Please welcome the quadruple threat and then some that you may know as Nikki Nasrallah, but probably know better as Selena Vyle. Welcome!
Air horns everywhere. Hi, Kyah.
How are you doing, Selena?
I'm doing all right.
I don't know if you did this on purpose. I don't think you did, but your hair matches our background perfectly.
Wait. Oh, it does. It's like rainbowy swishy.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're just gonna have a rainbow swishy time here today.
I'm all on board for rainbow swish. That's my favorite ice cream flavor.
I don't think we know anything other than rainbow swish, the two of us.
It's part of our brand.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's who
Nikki,
we are.
How are you doing? How are you doing? How is Selena doing? How's quarantine treating you?
We're all doing great. Actually, you were just asking me this, and I said that I'm really happy to be isolating. I have not had any icky feelings about it. Like, I've been really happy to not be around people, to not have to leave my house. I've been catching up with all the Real Housewives. I just started watching them about 2 months ago. I'm 19 seasons into the series.
That's absolutely wild.
I started in 2007. I'm now in 2011, I think. So be proud of me.
So, how many regions do they have Housewives in now?
I believe it's somewhere around 10.
Wow.
If I go in order, it's OC, New York, New Jersey, Atlanta, Potomac, Beverly Hills, Salt Lake City just started. And there's a few international seasons going on as well, like Melbourne and Cheshire.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think there's 7 right now.
First of all, this was a test and you passed with flying colors.
Did I get all of them?
I think so. That sounds about right.
Nice.
Also, Salt Lake City, isn't that like a very large Mormon population? Are
it's
all
so
of those
funny.
wives
Yes.
one person?
Okay, so no, you would think so. I think it's really cool the way they did it, because I was just talking about this with Alana Rioch, who's another wonderful comedian, who said, she's like, I think it's amazing that each housewife introduces herself by saying whether or not she is Mormon.
And
it's true.
Funny.
So there's this one woman who's like from Hawaii, and she used to be Mormon, and she converted to Muslim for her husband, because she's like, my husband's Black, and Mormons don't accept Black people, so why would I be in a religion that doesn't accept my husband and my children? So she converted to Muslim. And then there's a few that got exorcised from, is that the word? From Mormonism, yes, because they're divorced. So yeah, there's people who are and people who aren't. Yeah.
Drama.
Yeah.
That's wild. We'll come back around to Mormonism when I ask you more about musicals.
Yes. A little Trey Parker.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Let's get started with our 5 things. You ready?
5 things. 5 things. 5 things. 5 things. 5 things. Do you ever sing that on this show?
No, but that is that game, that improv game, for those of you who do not know. That improv game is what the title is based off of. Before we get into the 5 things, Nikki, could you describe yourself for any person who might be listening right now? Just what you look like.
Oh, what I actually look like. So I am wearing a green rhinestone and applique Arab-inspired bodysuit. And my makeup is not the best, because I'm not the best makeup artist, but I have a beard. It's a dark black beard filled with mascara, red lips. I have blue eyeshadow and heavy eyeliner going on. My hair is poofed up and curled, like waved out, like a nice fluffy wave. And the color of the wig is primarily green, but also like all the colors of the rainbow with dark roots.
Beautiful. All right, now that you know what you're imagining in your brain, let's get this thing started with number 1. All right, so you've been a staple of the comedy community here in Toronto for a while. You've been doing comedy for quite a bit. What inspired you in the last couple of years to move into drag?
I don't. Okay, so what happened was I was doing a comedy show called The Diva Cup, which was produced by Danny Stover and Laura Silovitz and Aaron Conway, where show. It was a wonderful show where they take comedians who have never done drag before and dress them up in drag. And we had people do our makeup. We had Hillary Yass was already a drag queen at the time, and she was already in comedy at the time, so she was helping us get everything that we needed to be fabulous. And we each put on a performance, and it was a competition-style show. And the host of that evening was a muscle drag queen named Vicky Licks. And she came up to me after the show, and she said, hey, look, like we've known each other for a while, but she was like, hey, you really have something that would work really well in drag, and I think you have something that the drag community needs, and I would love to see you pursue this. And I was like, not for me. No, thank you. I'm not interested. Like, I don't do makeup. I don't do hair. I don't even know anything about fashion. So like, I'm not interested. And she was like, no, I'm really serious. You should try this. And then she kept messaging me, and it's like, no, I'm really serious. I want you to try this. And I was like, no. And then I hit this depression wall where like I burned out completely. My adrenal glands were depleted. I couldn't focus on anything in my life. So I had to take time. Like my doctor was like, time off, young lady. And so I had to take time. So I took the whole summer off. I stopped work, and thank you, Andrea Marston. Andrea Marston says, you want this hair, and you can have it for $70. And anyway, so I took this break, and during that break, I was like, okay, what do I want to do? Like, where's my focus going? Like, what am I doing with? And I was watching a lot of Drag Race, and I was like, you know what? Let's try it. Let's try it. So I messaged Vicky after a year and said, yes, I'll give it a shot. So end of 2017 is when I first started doing it.
Wow, what a story. That's kind of incredible. Honestly, now that I know you as a regular drag queen, the notion that you ever said no to it seems a little wild to me.
The fact that I never knew that I could do this as a career.
It's so interesting to have somebody hounding you because they believe in you for something.
Isn't it amazing? Vicky Licks is really incredible. She really sees people, and she's really like, I know where you could go, and I want to see it happen.
Yeah. Would you consider her your drag mother, or would you?
She is officially my drag mother. Yeah.
Amazing.
I never would have done drag if it wasn't for her.
Is that what qualifies a drag mother, or is there a variety of different qualifications?
No, a drag mother kind of like takes care of you. So she definitely pointed me in the right direction. She taught me how to paint, or she painted my face. And she gave me a lot of like old wigs. She gave me a lot of old outfits, and she just like told me where to go, like what open stages to hit. And she guides me. She still does. Like, it's been 3 years and she's still guiding me a lot, which is awesome.
That's amazing. Oh, if only we all had such like powerful mentors in our life. That's pretty incredible.
It really is pretty badass. Yeah.
And just as a follow-up to that, would you say that there's like a lot of transferred skills that have come with you from the comedy world into the drag world?
I have been using these skills, and yes, Tom is painting right now for Theater Sports. So everybody watch that tonight. Yes, there are definitely transferable skills. I had to learn some new ones for sure, like face, makeup, hair, all that stuff. I had to really, really, really work at, and I'm still not great at it, but I'm doing better. But yeah, I definitely love to use the skills that I've used outside of drag, which I've been a dance teacher, I've been a comedian, I've been in musical theater, I've been a singer. So I'll put on cabarets where I musical improvise the entire thing. I do a lot of Broadway numbers in my shows. I pull from my culture a lot. So I do a lot of, I'm Mexican Lebanese, so I use a lot of that influence in the songs that I choose to perform. So drag, what really impresses me about it is that it is the all-encompassing art form. You can take anything you do and do it in drag. And
That's
people will,
so awesome.
people are interested in, like, they're more interested in you as a drag queen than as a regular performer. I never got paid as a dude. Like, I never got paid when I wasn't in drag. And then now that I'm in drag, suddenly I'm getting booked on comedy shows, and like, and we know we have to pay you. And I'm like, yes, you do, but you always did. And you never did.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
That actually transitions perfectly into thing two, which is kind of touching on both the work I've seen you do in drag and comedy. You've never really shied away from making political statements, doing fundraisers, dressing up as strong political figures like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who should be celebrated in every show there ever was. I love her so much. But you've never really shied away from the politics of it. How do you think sort of the current climate of politics affects drag, gender performance, kind of the work that you've been doing?
I think we're in an era right now where we have to be political. Like, we have reached such a climax of the other side. Like, hi, Monica. And my auntie Ivory Towers is in the house, being a comedy drag queen as well. But but we have reached an era where the right and the left are so heightened in their convictions and in their wanting to take the other down. And obviously the right is wrong and the left is correct. So I'm definitely on the left. But yeah, so we're basically at a point where we're fighting for our lives, because with the rise of social media, we are seeing what is happening around the world, and we are seeing what is happening in our own backyards that we were ignoring before. And now we can't ignore it anymore. And so I take it upon myself as a drag queen to raise awareness about a lot of things and just spread a lot of information. Even if I don't understand it, I'm still like, read this article. I don't know what it means, but you read it and you tell me. Because drag is political. Like, drag started as a Pride started as a protest thanks to a lot of like Black trans women and drag queens, and so I feel like it's my responsibility to be political. I was never really political before I started drag, and then now that I'm a drag queen, I'm just like, everybody listen.
I think that's incredible because, I mean, from what I understand of it, being a member of the queer community and being a fan of drag, is that I've always kind of seen drag queens as leaders of the queer community in a lot
And
of
drag
ways.
kings, not just queens.
And drag kings. Yeah, drag performers of all kind. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that binary.
Yeah, you are a drag king, by the way. Identify yourself.
Yeah, I've done some drag before. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a regular, but I've definitely done it. Also at the Diva Cup.
Yes.
But yeah, I've always, because they have so much exposure, because they have such a larger reach than sort of people in the community, unless they're involved in activism. Active drag queens can make a huge difference, and you even see that in mainstream, like RuPaul's Drag Race. So many of those queens do so much good for the community.
Absolutely, there's so many amazing political figures on there. Like Bob the drag queen is so political. Like she uses I think they go by they right now, but Bob definitely uses their voice and always has. Like even like they were like when they got on Drag Race, they were talking about how they're super political in New York and have been arrested for protesting, and I think it's amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible stuff. I think it's incredible that you've kind of taken up that mantle as well.
Thank you.
Oh, just here to compliment you, you know? Tell you how cool you are.
I'm very vain. I don't need the compliments. I tell myself these things every day.
I don't think that's a bad thing. You deserve it. All right. Okay. Let's move on to thing number 3. Thank you. Okay. So while we're on the subject of Drag Race, now that we've brought it up, you know, we're all, most people are familiar with the Drag Race oeuvre of talent and how many girls there are in there. I'm obviously curious about some of your biggest influences from Drag Race, but also really curious about what some local queens that have been blowing your mind that you'd love to shout out, besides, of course, yourself.
I love this question. I won't talk about me for this one. So you want to know which are my influences in the Drag Race world and which are my favorites outside of it, correct? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, like I'm curious about your Drag Race favorites just because I am also a fan, but what I really want is to make sure that we're shouting out some local queens.
Right. Okay, good. We're going to get to local queens in a moment. First, I want to say my favorite drag queens are the ones who are on Drag Race, are the ones who are funny and excellent performers, like amazing lip syncers. So for me, that's Jujubee and Trinity K. Bonet. Those are like my top two. Like every lip sync Trinity K. Bonet has done has like lit a fire under me. I think she's incredible. And I've loved, there's Jujubee. Jujubee is the funniest person in the world.
For those of you who are just listening to the podcast, we are currently looking at a Googled picture of Jujubee.
And there's Trinity K. Bonet. Trinity K. Bonet is gorgeous, and I think her arc on the show is the most incredible arc that has ever been there. Like, she started out really defensive and negative and like, I don't do that. That's not what I do. And then by the end of it, she just was like such a ray of positivity and like, just like really chill vibes on the show. And I just love watching her journey.
I love her so much.
I'm mad at her right now.
Oh no, really?
Because she's on team no trans people on Drag Race.
Oh, yeah. That's rough.
Yeah. So she's very defensive about that. Like if anyone argues with her, she's like, "Leave me alone. It's my opinion." And I'm like, "Bitch, like."
Anyway. Yeah, not how it works when the opinion affects other people.
Yeah. So I'm hoping she evolves.
I hear she's coming back for All Stars 5. How many All Stars are we on right now?
I think this is going to be 6, but yeah, there are rumors that she's there, and there are also rumors that there is a trans queen on it.
That's fun.
Yeah, which is like, that's kind of their rule. Is like, you can be trans, you just can't have boobs. So this is someone who is like living their life as a full-on trans woman, and like with like post-op. I don't mean to say full on as if you haven't had the operation that you're not full, but yeah. So I'm very curious to see if there's a journey with that on the series, if the rumors are true.
Yeah, and just in case any of our listeners or people watching are wondering why it's important to make sure trans people can be on Drag Race, do you have any thoughts on that?
Absolutely, it's because all drag is valid, and to say that a drag so RuPaul used this horrible analogy saying that the reason why we don't allow drag queens who have had their top surgery on the show is because it's like in the Olympics if you take steroids. And I'm like, that is such an offensive thing to say, especially because it's not an advantage. Having breasts is not an advantage in drag, considering so many of our most recent winners don't even use
padding.
Yeah, they don't use padding. They go with boy bod. They have like flat chests. So like, I don't understand why they think that like having breasts doesn't make you talented. It doesn't make you like a stunning drag queen.
Nor does it make you a woman, frankly.
Exactly.
Like, that's reductionist on its own.
Thank you.
Lots of women without breasts.
That is correct. And listen, there are terrible trans drag queens out there, but there are incredible drag queens, like trans drag queens out there. So let everybody have their shot.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to mostly performance, and your body doesn't change that. The thing that's always really gotten me is I don't see any difference between getting a ton of plastic surgery and being on the show and being on hormones or whatever a trans person chooses to do.
Exactly, because like look at Trinity the Tuck and look at Detox. Like they've had so much surgery to make themselves look the way they look to be more presentable in drag, to be more passable in drag.
Yeah. And so there you go. There you go. We all spilled some tea. It was a good time.
We spilled a little bit of tea here.
Just a little bit. A little bit of political.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to question number 4.
Wait, what about the locals?
Oh, the locals.
Locals.
They're important, right?
We gotta shout out the locals.
Okay, that was the whole point.
It was the whole point. I'm gonna try and make a conscious effort to give a variety of in the scope of drag of the local scene. Lucinda Mew, first of all, I think is the best lip syncer. I think she has the best style. So she is her family's from Peru and El Salvador. That's her background, and she makes all her own costumes, and she now makes costumes. Connor, I love how quick you are with the background. So right now we're looking at Lucinda Mew's website. But
this website is as beautiful as she is.
Oh my God, she is stunning. She's so interesting looking. She's very like David Lynch inspired and very old Hollywood inspired as well. So she does a lot of old Broadway. She does a lot of Latin stuff. She does a lot of spooky stuff as well. And she has designed for a lot of drag queens on RuPaul's Drag Race Season 1 of Canada.
I would also like to second this choice. I worked with her on a show called Queens, which you should check out because she's fabulous in it. And she is not only so talented, but she is also one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life.
The nicest person. Unbelievable.
Go follow her. Give her all your money.
Mm-hmm. A person I'm a big fan of right now is Bombay, who is such a beautiful character. Like, her makeup is gorgeous, and then she comes up with these, like, there's a lot of humor in them, but like stunning outfits that are both like funny and like kind of like alien-like. I just love. She's also just of the funniest person. She does a show every Monday on Twitch, on Speakeasy Tattoo's Twitch channel, and it's called Are You Smarter Than, where she takes two drag queens or drag performers, and pits them against each other in a battle of the wits, and she's hilarious.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah, it is. Who else is wonderful? There's so many.
There are so many.
Big fan of Manny Dingo, who like came from Halifax and is just like slaying it, killing it, murdering it on the scene.
Very good, that one.
Yeah, gives like very like their aesthetic is very like Prince, Lil Nas X, like very like purple cowboy hat kind of thing. And is like the go-to drag king right now, just like absolutely killing the scene, doing a lot of like early 90s remix vibes, which I'm really happy about. Yeah. So like, and like very Vogue on your head, like just twerking on your head kind of thing. And I'm totally about it.
That's excellent. Yep. Nice to be shouting out some gender performers too, because they're awesome. It's not all queens out there, friends. Go check out the whole rainbow of people.
That's right. I also have to shout out Ivory Towers because she's in the chat right now. But Ivory is actually, like, for me, one of the and you're amazing it. She's writing it in there right now. She's writing it. She's the, like, so funny, gorgeous, high energy on stage, the nicest person to everybody, gives everyone an opportunity. She's one of those queens who's been around for like 15 years, but still takes the time to learn the name of everybody around her. Like, every new performer coming up, she learns their names. She interacts with them. A lot of more established queens will ignore the people coming up, but Ivory is the type of person who uplifts the people coming up.
That's so incredible. And also very, very funny. Have had the pleasure of working with her on Queens as well. And she did this air kiss thing that everybody still talks about as one of the funniest moments on the whole show. So
an air kiss?
It was entirely improvised, and she cracked up everybody on set. It was very funny.
See, what I remember is the armpit. Smell me.
Yeah, that was also good. Yeah. All right. So we're running a little low on time, so we're gonna move on to number 4. I know. No, okay. It's a great thing. That's the whole point of the show. Please talk. It's my job to worry about the rest of it. You do you. Yes. So let's move on to number 4. Get off drag for a second, because I know you got a lot of things that you love, and so this is going to be our sort of more random question. If number 4, there we go. Thing 4. Got to stick with the format. If you could be in a Broadway production of one musical, what would it be, and who would you play?
Oh my God, this one's intense because there's so many musicals I want to be in.
I thought there might be. Please talk us through your process here.
I know, there are so many. Like, I'm obsessed with a chorus line, but I think that one reads terribly on stage. Like, it's so outdated. But I would love to. I've been in it before, so I'm not going to say that. I saw the production of Cabaret on Broadway 3 times, the revival, with Natasha Richardson and Alan Cumming, though I didn't see them. I saw Gina Gershon and John Stamos. But
still good.
It's an incredible production. But I think right now, the one that I would want to be in that I haven't been in yet is In the Heights.
I thought you were going to say that.
I mean, it's just like, there's so many amazing songs in there that are so, like, uplifting and tragic and party, and just like, it's so Latin flavor inspired. I also saw that 3 times on Broadway, and I brought my family from Mexico and like had all my aunties like watch it. It's just like, and I think the person that I would play, I think I would want to be Vanessa.
Yeah.
Because Vanessa's got great songs and great dance numbers. I'd say Nina, but Nina doesn't have dance numbers. Like, I want to dance. So Vanessa has the whole like salsa bit in the club scene, and that's what I want to do. So I'm going to go with In the Heights, Vanessa.
Are you so excited for the upcoming movie?
The trailer made me cry. It looks like no other movie musical.
Right?
Like, oh my God. It just looks spectacular.
Sometimes when I'm having a hard day, I just watch the trailer.
Oh my God.
It's because it's just so good.
Yeah. Do you cry too?
I haven't yet cried. I have cried at songs from, to full disclosure, I haven't seen the full musical front to back. I've heard a bunch of songs, but I've kind of been saving it for when I get to see it properly.
Oh.
But I'm very excited to see this movie.
Yeah.
Because there's some songs I just love in it.
It looks like they did it right. Like, they did it the way a movie musical should be done.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah. And I think Lin-Manuel was on the set for it, right?
I'm sure he was, yeah. He'd have to be. And it's directed by the director of Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I heard was wonderful.
Oh, you haven't seen it? It is. It's a spectacle. It's a spectacle.
Oh, okay. So I'll have to pick that up.
John M2 is his name.
There we go.
AR.
Amazing. Okay, so for anybody listening who's about to produce a musical, because that's happening a ton right now. That's sarcasm.
Yeah,
keep Selena Vyle in mind for your Vanessa.
Please do.
If it happened because of this show, I would be so happy for you.
Oh my God! Imagine. I'd give you some of my earnings.
That would be completely unnecessary, and I would refuse that. All right, Good. Let's move on to our last thing. Thing number 5. So I know that you're a great lover of The Young and the Restless. Is that correct?
I grew up on it. I've been watching it since 1980.
Oh, well, that answers my first question.
Okay.
How long have you been watching this beast of a narrative?
Since I was in the womb.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, obviously that's how you got into the show. What do you love so much about it? What would you say are the best parts of it? Like if somebody's never watched it before,
Yeah.
what would you tell them?
Well, they're like my family, first of all. Like, that's why I keep watching it, is because these people have been in my life for most, like, longer than most people that I know. And I remember when I was in high school, I cut out an article that I read in the paper and I put it on my agenda saying that people who watch soap operas are happier than people who don't because they feel like they have a lot of friends in their life. Which is like both really sad and both really great. It's like you get fulfilled by the people that are in your living room every day, murdering each other and sleeping with each other's wives. So, I mean, it's high drama. The actors on it are like the best of any soap opera. It's my favorite character is Phyllis, played by Michelle Stafford, who sent me a birthday cameo. Thank you to my friend who bought that for me. But she's like fun, hilarious. She plays a bad girl, which I'm always drawn to, like a redheaded bad girl on the show.
Yeah.
And there's been a few, so I don't know. It's a sexy show too. There's like Shamar Moore comes from that show. Joshua Morrow, if you know who that is. Some sexy people have come from that show.
Yeah, I mean, didn't a lot of actors get started on various different soaps? I don't think it's YNR, but I think Sarah Michelle Gellar of Buffy got started.
She was
on
All
soaps.
My Children. She was on All My Children.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
awesome. I love it.
That's
your go-to. Your go-to famous actor was Buffy.
Of course. I mean, if you can see what you're looking at right now, I have a little nerd den behind me that has a myriad of Buffy references. So
listen, I'm all about it.
I lean into my nerd. Yeah, okay, so when it comes to Young and the Restless, obviously soap operas have a lot of like genre-y, tropey, like you married my best friend's brother's sister's dog's father's wife. Like, would you say those are fair stereotypes?
Yeah, absolutely. The amount of people right now, the big thing on Young and the Restless is where they'll kill off a character and then everyone will be like, no, bring them back. So they'll bring them back as their long lost twin who didn't know they had a twin.
So that is a real thing, not just a thing that happened on Friends.
No, it's a real thing.
Wow, that is amazing, and I love that.
I mean, it's a real thing on the show, not in real life.
Yes.
Though you never know. You never know. Yeah, Dr. Draper Moray.
Oh, I love it. Very good. All right, I think we've come to the end of our time, but just before we go, first of all, thank you so much for coming and chatting with me today. Selena, you are easily my favorite drag queen in the city. Sorry to everybody else.
Oh, sorry, Ivory Towers. Thank you.
Also wonderful, but like, come on, look at you. And is there anything that you want to plug that is coming up that you want to talk about just before we head out the door?
Well, I am joining Bad Dog for a few more shows this week. I'm in, as you said at the beginning of the podcast, Among Us. Watch the 24-hour festival happening this weekend, and please donate to Bad Dog Theater, who lost their space recently because of COVID. And I'm also next Wednesday on The Oval, hosted by Anders Yates. And as you said at the beginning of the podcast, Drag Academy is a group that I work with that hosts a bunch of drag-related masterclasses. We have masterclasses in makeup, hair design, costume, padding. I taught a class on personality and performance. And we have Raja O'Hara tonight coming to talk to us, and Priyanka is coming in a couple weeks as well.
Oh, big deal. And Selena, where can people find you online if they want to look you up?
Oh, I'm just around. I am at Selena Vyle on the Instagram. I'm Selena Vyle on Facebook, but don't add me unless you know me. And I'm also on Twitter with the same handle. So you can just look that. And Vyle is with a Y, by the way, and Selena's with an E. So SELENAVYLE. No I.
Awesome. Thank you so much again, Selena, for coming on. You are so vile.
Thank you. She's so vile. That's my hashtag. Thank you, Kyah. Thanks for having me. Thanks, Bad Dog Theater. I'll see you all soon.
Yeah, and thank you so much to our tech, Connor Lowe, and the people that make this show possible, Coko Galore, the head of Bad Dog, Sonar Network, and Bad Dog Theater. Make sure that you subscribe and follow to this channel. We have some incredible shows, including Theater Sports, which I believe is coming up tonight, that you will see another beautifully painted face in the form of one Tom Hearn. There's a lot of wonderful shows that you should be checking out, so make sure you subscribe, you like, you follow, and you donate, because we did lose our space recently, our beloved space, but that's okay because we got the people. But in order to keep running things, we're going to need your help. So please make sure you donate anything you possibly can to www.baddogtheater.com/5things, and we will keep bringing you this delightful nonsense. I'm Kyah Green. Stay safe. Do some drag. Have a good day.